Like what matters is really your life force, your spirit. You can call it Kundalini, you can call it Chi, you can call it whatever you want, but it's really what drives us as human beings. And that's the most favorite part to work with in healing, by far. By far. And it's also the most potent. So as you're getting adjusted, your spines are changing, your neurology is changing. Try to spread open your envelope a little bit. So if you're used to doing things a certain way, you're used to eating certain foods that may not particularly be so great for you, you're used to sleeping on a Tempur-Pedic, you're used to sitting a certain way, you're used to engaging with certain people a certain way, and you just start to recognize that maybe it's not the best, but it's how you've always done it. It's a fabulous time to change. Because your spine and your nervous system is becoming more, what? Flexible. And that means you can become more flexible. Russia had a polar bear that they wanted to get rid of. They already had a polar bear in the zoo. So they wanted to get rid of this polar bear. And they made a deal with a zoo in America, I think it was San Diego, that if San Diego would build the right habitat and it would be big enough and it would have the ice thing and the slides and all the things polar bears need, that we could have the bear. So they agreed, and San Diego, I believe it was San Diego, started building on this massive habitat for the bear. And the bear arrived 12 days early, before the habitat was done. So the bear was left in its cage, which was, I think, 15 by 15 by 15 by 15, and it paced the cage. And after 12 days, they put the bear in the habitat, and guess what that bear is still doing today? It's pacing. 15 by 15 by 15 by 15. How do they get the elephants out of the jungle? They decide which elephant they want and where that pack is hanging out. They go in when the elephants are out feeding or at the water hole, and they drive in a stake. And then they come back, and a group of big people hold down the elephant and put him to the stake. They put a collar on him and they put him to the stake, and they have to leave that elephant at the stake for 3 days. That's it, 3 days. And then they leave the elephant out with a little rope. So don't let this happen to you. We have all these imposed ideas of who we're supposed to be based on our age, our health, our diagnosis, our diseases, our sex, all of that. We have all these preconceived and imposed ideas of what we're supposed to be like. But really, what you are is electricity. If you hang out in here for any period of time, like these wonderful chiropractic students do who drive an hour to get here, and they do that because they see miracles. They see kids with autism you can't tell have autism. They see kids with cerebral palsy that couldn't even crawl at 2 years old, who are now moving about normally. And all kinds of other stuff, because there is no self-imposed limitation here. That's part of why the group works. That's why I work in a group, because there's an energy to that. And whatever you think your problem is, I can guarantee you there's going to be somebody usually in the room who's much worse off than you, and somebody who's much better than you. So it kind of throws all that out the window. You can't really get stuck in what you think it's about in your head, because what it's really about is life force and electricity. And so think about where you can open up and give yourself more room to be who you are. Widen that envelope up. Get a bigger skin. And live outside yourself a little bit. That's really how people heal. Like seriously. A friend of mine, Dee Martini, who's a chiropractor, says, if you're not reaching your goals, it's because they're too small. Make them bigger. Make them a bigger leap for yourself. And to me, that's what chiropractic is all about, and that's what healing's all about, and that's why I'm so grateful you're here, because I don't know what I would do if I didn't do this. I love this, and I love all of you for participating and being part of this practice.